going back to the idea that he just gets it. I mean, think about the idea of Clerks when it came out. What other movie before that were characters sitting around talking about Jaws and Star Wars and like all this other stuff? It really feels like, I know this is going to sound like a weird thing, but it feels like the first filmic representation of like quote nerd culture in a way.
It,
Um,
yeah, it could have been. I mean, where it's just sort of a celebration of it, right? Where you're just like,
or just relatable on the sense of like, how many, one of the famous conversations in that movie is about, well, what about the contractors that worked on the second Death Star?
oh,
Like, how often do you sit around, like you go out to bars with people, or you
yeah.
have your D&D night, and those kind of conversations start to kind of.
That's the conversation that you have. You're just like you think about it's like Star Trek Lower Decks, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that show is made specifically for me and you and our kind, who are very nerd like Star Trek centric, you know. So that's awesome. Does he only do? I thought you said he did cartoons. Does he only do live action? No.
He does live action, but so they turned the this goes into my other nerddom, which is animation. They very haphazardly. So there's two interesting things. So Clerks, they originally tried to adapt as a live action series several years later, and the big thing about that is that oh, what's his name? I believe in the pilot, Jim Brewer is plays one of the characters, plays Randall. They
Okay.
didn't bring anyone from the film into this TV version, and it's floating around. It's on like the 10th anniversary DVD, etc.,
Okay.
etc. And so it didn't work. Um, and then 5 years later, ABC again tries to turn it into a cartoon, which has a very infamous thing because the movie is very much an R movie. ABC is trying to create this like answer to The Simpsons. So, in Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob are weed dealers. In the cartoon, they're fireworks dealers. Um,
Okay.
and then like there were only 6 episodes. The they aired the sixth episode in production order second, which was a flashback episode to stuff that people had not seen at that point, which made it make even less sense
Right.
because they do the cliche. They both get locked in the freezer and
Sure.
they're flashing back to everything. But because it aired second instead of like fifth or sixth, they're referencing all of this stuff that no one has seen. So the show gets canceled after 2 episodes
Okay.
because people don't know what to think of it. They advertise this show during the Super Bowl.
Weird.
Yeah.
So
And so
they're pushing it, but they don't put it out right.
they also don't know what exactly they're like. They don't
Yeah.
know what they want it to be. And like, it was crazy. Like Alec Baldwin is like the mayor of the town, and
What?
it's crazy. It's a really crazy. It's 6 episodes, and it's really funny because it's gotten a good amount of play. It was in because again, I have to imagine it's only 6 episodes. The licensing for reruns is probably not a lot. So
Right.
it's run on Comedy Central and reruns. It's run on Adult Swim and reruns. Um, it's been around and around.
Right.
Um, but it's so that's what's funny to me when you look at like that was such an interesting period because it felt like when everyone was trying to chase after family like The Simpsons and stuff
Yeah.
like what is our Simpsons? Because at that point, like past the Flintstones, like no one understood after The Simpsons like how to get adult
More
animated
of that.
on
Yeah.
prime time.